Hi, thanks for stopping in today. What I'm going to show you today is how you can prepare a meal in this little 12-volt lunchbox warmer. So not only is it good for warming, you can also cook a meal in there, and it works really well. I'm very surprised. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using the jackey and the 12-volt plug, which I've already plugged in to start warming up this thing. It does come with this little plug too that you can use as well if you're plugging it into the AC portion, or also inside in your home as well. Okay, so there's a couple things that you need to do before you start putting food into this little pan. The first thing, this has an insert in it, so you don't really want to put your food directly in here. What I do here is, well, the first thing you want to do is make a little insert to go inside. I just use foil. Some people buy the little muffin or loaf pans and they put them inside, but it's cheaper to do it this way unless you want to clean out that pan afterwards. You can just use a little piece of foil. You mold it all the way around the pan to make like a loaf size, cheaper version of the loaf pan, I guess you would call it. Once you've done that and you've made the little insert out of foil, you're going to put in a little bit of water. I would say maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. And the reason why you need to put water in it is because the food is actually going to steam cook. If you don't put any water in it, you risk that the food will dry out. So this is not really good for dried foods. This is more geared towards if you're warming up food that has moisture in it, like with sauces, soups, stews, that kind of thing. And today I'm going to be making eggs, so it doesn't really have any water in it per se, so that's why I'm adding in the water into the bottom, so it will help it steam and keep it from drying out while it's cooking. Once you have those steps done, you've turned it on, you've put in your water, and look, it's already steaming. I've only had it plugged in for about a minute, so it works really well. Now I'm going to put in my insert, and the next step, I'm going to use this little, also another insert, which is a air fryer liner that you go in here. I couldn't get the square ones, so I ended up just buying these little round ones from the dollar store, and they're like $1.50 for 20. Again, this is going to be disposable, so I'm trying to keep the cost down as much as possible. You could probably also make these out of the parchment paper if you wanted to, but it's easier right now for this purpose to do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to be making an egg / spinach, cheese, onion, tomato omelette in this thing today. I don't use all eggs other than one, so I'm going to use four eggs, but 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg, and that's what I'm going to be doing. But actually, I almost forgot. You do have to spray a little bit of this on there to prevent it from sticking onto the parchment paper. And then, of course, just go ahead and I'm going to actually just put that in there. I'm going to get rid of my egg yolks because I don't give them to my dog and I don't eat them myself. And that's mainly due to cholesterol reasons, because they tend to put up my cholesterol. These are big eggs, but I try to get a lot of protein in. Now, at my age, as we get older, we need to consume a lot more protein. Okay, so we got that done. I'm just going to give that a little stir. So I'll just give that a little stir. Mix it up a little bit. You don't have to be really particular about this. The next step, I'm going to take, I already have my vegetables, my onion and my tomato already cut up. So the next step, I'm going to put in the onion, because the onion will take a little bit longer to cook. And I've cut the onion up very, very tiny. You don't have to put onion in it. I do. I love onion and everything. I'm going to sprinkle those right over the top. I'm actually going to bring the camera a little closer so you can really see what I'm doing here. Okay, so now we're a little bit closer. You can see more clear what I'm doing. I'm going to finish putting in the onion. Again, you would want to have these cut up really tiny. because they are what is going to take the longest to cook. So, and again, you don't have to add it. You can just use the spinach, the tomato, and the cheese if you wish. I just like onion and everything. The next layer I'm going to put in is the baby spinach, and we're just going to put this right in on top of here. And next would be the tomato. You can use cherry tomatoes. I didn't have any, so I just cut up. Actually, this is a beef steak tomato, but I'm not really particular about that. A tomato is a tomato, or tomato is a tomato, and I just use whatever I have on hand. So I'm not really particular when it comes to whether or not you should use the cherry tomatoes, although this is what this particular recipe would have called for if I make it in my frying pan on the stove. And of course, the next step would be to put some cheese. I'm using non-dairy cheese because I have a little bit of an allergy to cheese or milk product. Not a serious allergy, but I try to consume as least amount as possible. Now you're going to add in some salt and pepper to your liking. So I have low blood pressure, so I always add a bit of extra salt for myself. Doctor's orders. And then some pepper. And what I like is to add some oregano in here. So I also want to add another little tip too. You know, again, as much as you desire, I don't really measure these things. I just kind of take a guess depending on how much you like it. All right, so I'm going to put the lid on this. So this is all plugged in. I'm going to put the lid on it now. You also have to keep the steamer open. You don't want to close this, because if you close this, you could damage this item. So it's very important to leave that open. And there we go. So it's all sealed up, and I am on, let me turn this up a little bit. Okay, so I am on 17 amount of power. So I have just 17% of power left on this little jackey. And right now, of course, it's still warming up because I just put everything in there. So it's warming everything up, and it's running at 53 watts. Now it's a matter now waiting to see how long it's going to cook. And that'll be it. And we'll see how it turns out. In the meantime, I want to give you just another little tip of something that I do, which can save some money. So these are my coffee jars. So it's like a Tim Hortons coffee bottle that you get from Walmart. And the sticker comes off really well. So whenever I'm done with my coffee, I just clean it out and I take a label. One second, I'll show you now. I still have some packs here. So I usually buy my spices in these little packs. Then I cut the label off of here, put my spice in here, and tape on the label that's already on the pack. Saves money, and these are really good because they hold a lot. They hold, like, you know, it's plenty of room for a whole pack of spice. They are glass. That is a downside if you are in a van, but for in the house, they work really good. Okay, so I'm going to check back now after it's done and let you know how long it took to cook, what amount of energy it used, and let's see what it turned out like. See you in a bit. Okay, so we're back. It is 45 minutes later, and we are down at 9% power. So we have used 8% of power, and it's still registering at 49 watts. So it's using 49 watts still. So now, I checked it about 10 minutes ago and it was nearly done, but I thought I would give it another 10 minutes. So I will show you now how it turned out after 45 minutes. You have to be careful, like when you lift this off, because it is kind of hot. You would be surprised at how much heat this generates. So I'm going to carefully see if I can lift this out here. Oops. And There we go. So I'm going to move this aside. I meant to test the internal temperature. So it's on Fahrenheit. I should have. So it's about 180. It's about 186 Fahrenheit. This is a good little gadget to have, a food thermometer. So I'm just going to slide this out of here and take out this paper and just put that in there. And I still haven't turned this off, so power that off. And we will cut it. And as you can see, it's perfectly cooked. So that's it. So 45 minutes and you have a nice spinach egg cheese omelette.